Hello there and a very warm welcome to another edition of Channels Beam. I'm Victor Matthias. Now today on the program we will take a look at highlights from the Nigerian Communication Technology Week, which focused on a multi-stakeholder engagement where end users, internet service providers and government regulators sat together to analyze key issues in the sector and proffer solutions that will accelerate internet development in the country. We will also be looking at an initiative by tech giants Google, which aims to empower kids aged 9 to 16 with digital skills to survive in this era. Plus, we will also take a look at collaborative efforts between Nigeria and the Republic of Ireland on how to improve the fintech revolution in the country. But before we do all of that, let's begin with the most talked about hashtags in the social cyberspace in the past week.
The 2019 nominees for the Future Africa Awards were unveiled to recognize Nigeria's new tribe of achievers. The award celebrates youths under the age of 31 for their work in various sectors ranging from journalism, health, and advocacy, among others. The decision to extend the closure of Nigeria's land borders has caused mixed reactions. While some see it as a good move for locally grown goods, others believe it will drive foreign investors away.
It was a gathering of key players from sectors ranging from government, private sector, tech industry players and enthusiasts, all gathered to engage each other on ways that will accelerate internet development in Nigeria.
The President of NIRA gave the keynote last year. Now the President of NIRA is giving the keynote.
The keynote speaker first goes down memory lane to when the internet was birthed, then lists major hindrances to getting more people online.
There are different kinds of taxes, as high as 18 different kinds of taxes in Nigeria. So you go to a state, you want to build a mast to provide internet services, you need to acquire land. Because if you're a GSM operator, mostly in that location, they will hike the price. The price is expensive. After you got the land, the documentation process, everybody knows in Nigeria, is extremely difficult. After getting the documentation, you build the mast. You put 2 generators that are permanently powering the site. You provide security for that site because if you put diesel there, people will connive.
For one of the evaluators and regulators of information technology in Nigeria, NITDA, the internet should be made available for everyone so as to promote national development.
The federal government of Nigeria recognizes the immense socio-economic importance of broadband services to national development and therefore seeks to ensure that infrastructure necessary to provide these broadband services is available and accessible to all citizens.
But what are the solutions?
It's not just about the cost of internet. It's about some of the fundamental costs of it. We also need to make sure that businesses have cost bases that allow them to make a decent return on investment. It's the return on investment that brings the investment into more innovation into the future. So it's perfectly fair for businesses to make a return so that they can reinvest in the future, and that creates jobs.
If all of us can sit down on the table, I will say, okay, the generator, the mast, is just going to be one that will be there. Everybody can put their equipment on the same thing. So you don't have to spend money over and over again on something that we can all share and make this thing a bit more affordable. It's going to bring down costs.
The Internet Business Solution Group says the world population is expected to grow to 7.6 billion by 2020, with growth in Internet-connected devices expected to reach 50 billion. But the Internet might just not be for everyone if issues raised here are not resolved quickly.
Moving on now, we are joined by Google's Sub-Saharan Africa Head of Brand and Reputation, Mojolaoluwa Makinde, from their headquarters in Lagos. Thank you for joining us on the program.
The pleasure is all mine.
The pleasure is ours as well. So Google over the years pledged to get Africans online, and not only that, they also pledged to empower them with digital skills. But there is now a particular interest in kids aged 9 to 16. What informed this shift?
So, as you rightly said, we made a commitment in 2017 to train 10 million Africans on digital skills. And at that time, we were focused on, we started off focusing on youth. But over the last 1 year, we've reviewed our strategy, and basically we realized that if we're training the youth of today, there's also a gap in the youth of tomorrow. So that we don't get into the same situation which we're trying to solve for right now by training the youth of today and enabling them, we want to start early with the next generation to help them to build the skills that are relevant for the future. Everyone talks about the fourth industrial revolution, or the future of work, and the fact that jobs are changing, the skills that are needed are changing. In fact, the World Economic Forum did a research, and they basically said that the 10 key skills will be needed in the fourth industrial revolution. A part of those skills, the top 3 of those skills are problem solving, critical thinking, and creativity are top 3 of those skills. So we thought about, how do we begin to help build, these skills even in the next generation, in the early generation, so that we don't get to a place where they're not ready, for the fourth industrial revolution, or they're not ready for the future. And with CS First and with online safety work that we're doing, we're able to help them build those skills. So with CS First, they're able to learn problem solving and critical thinking skills, as well as creativity as well. And then with online safety, we're helping them to really understand, how do they, when they get into this world of digital, of the internet, how do they police themselves? How do they protect themselves? How do they understand how to behave in this world? Just like the way they're brought up even in the real world, and they're taught, the mannerisms and things to do, how to do it, how to be responsible citizens. In the digital economy as well, we want to build people that are responsible citizens.
Well, you made mention of the CS First initiative. What does that mean?
So CS First is a program that we have, a program that started by Google. It's a Google program, but also in collaboration with MIT. It's basically a program that teaches children within the age of 9 to 16 how to code. It builds on a programming language called Scratch. And with Scratch, children, it's a block-based programming language. So people can, even not just children, but even adults can learn how to code. So for example, I'm also learning how to code again because I'm a computer scientist. I'm learning how to code again with CS First because I'm my child's teacher on the platform. And so I'm teaching my child how to code, but also I'm also learning how to code myself. So it's a block-based programming language based off Scratch, and it helps children to learn how to code.
What plans do you have for the Africa Code Week, given that this is not only an initiative that will be running in Nigeria, but also in Africa at large?
So we have supported Africa Code Week since 2015 in partnership with SAP. We're very proud of that collaboration. Again, it's one of those initiatives that help us to teach children how to code. As part of the initiative, children use CS First, but they also use other programming languages, Java, etc. And we work through our partners. So we have signed up a partnership with Cape Town Science Center, and Cape Town Science Center in turn has already signed up a partnership with 55 other organizations across Africa, and in this year alone we're going to be reaching over 120,000 children. So we're really, really proud of this initiative and this opportunity for children to build coding skills. And I always say something to someone, everyone will say, oh, do you think every child is going to become a developer, or why are you trying to make every child code? My answer to that was always simple. Coding helps children to develop 2 critical skills, problem solving and critical thinking. And that's what we're trying to develop. It doesn't matter if the child ends up not using those skills to become a developer, but they go ahead because data tells us that these are the skills that will be relevant in the future of work.
Well, thank you for joining us on the program and sharing your thoughts. Head of Brand and Reputation at Google Sub-Saharan Africa, Mojolaoluwa Makinde.
Thank you very much.
Now, technology remains one of man's many inventions regarded as a creature of comfort that has taken over almost every sphere of human life. Now, one of those aspects of human life that technology has taken over is the financial part, where fintech is now seen as a major enabler of easy banking and financial services landscape across the globe. Now, this is said to have an immeasurable opportunities for those who adopt it, especially in growing economies like Nigeria. And we are now joined by the Sub-Saharan Africa Director of Enterprise Ireland, Fred Klinkenberg, to discuss ways Ireland can collaborate with Nigeria to improve the fintech revolution in Nigeria. Thank you for joining us on the program.
Thank you very much. I'm delighted to be here.
Now, what's driving the Irish and also the global fintech innovation spurt, and who's worth watching in this ever increasingly and busy space?
The fintech technology in Ireland is part of our overall economic strategy to develop the ICT digital technology space. We want to develop Ireland as a centre of excellence, a world-leading centre, and we do that following a particular economic strategy. The strategy is really based on attracting foreign capital to Ireland, and we're very successful in that, particularly in relation to the American multinationals who have used Ireland and are using Ireland as their base for Europe and the CEMEA, as well as developing our own indigenous base. It's really important, as it will be important and is important for Nigeria to also develop its local indigenous SME base. We actually see in Ireland today in the digital technology space that employment from the multinationals that are focusing on Ireland and are based in Ireland is actually surpassed now by the employment growth in the SME sector. So it's really important. We're here in Nigeria because we recognize that it's a really key market for us in Africa. We want to develop partnerships between our capability and local capability here in Nigeria, through which, if you like, we can create win-win positions for both.
So how can Nigeria benefit from the expertise of players in the Irish fintech sector?
Well, there are two ways I think that can happen. On the fintech side, today's conference mentioned the excellent development and program skills that Nigeria has. It's not well known in Ireland amongst our client base that exists. We go to India, we go to China, but we don't go to Nigeria. And I think through increased awareness, we can actually create jobs in Nigeria by using Nigeria as a development platform for our companies, as well as through partnerships with then Nigerian companies work through the technology base we have developed jointly into an African platform.
In all of this, how secure are the platforms these solutions will run on, putting in mind the fact that privacy, security, as well as GDPR issues are out there to be taken care of?
I think foreign investment is mobile, so therefore it goes where it finds sometimes the lowest denominator. What you need to do as a country that wants to attract direct foreign investment is that you need to continue to add values to the proposition that you offer. We in Ireland, we said originally, because we wanted to absorb all the high levels of unemployment we had in the 60s and the 70s, in Ireland we said, come to Ireland and set up a manufacturing base. And people did that, companies did that. And I'll give you one example. Apple computers came to Ireland in 1972, and it employed in Cork about 1,000 people, primarily women, and it was a low-cost production house. Today, Apple is still in Ireland, still in Cork, and where it now employs about 6,000 people, and is one of the main offshore platform in terms of software development that Apple has.
Well, we have to say thank you for your time and can't wait for the collaborations to kick in. And of course, we just hope to see more of that. But of course, thanks again for joining us on the program.
Thank you.
Now we'll take a break, and when we return, we'll bring you a chat I had earlier with the Ambassador of the Republic of Ireland during the National FinTech Week celebration right here in Lagos. Please stay with us.